If you're wealthy enough to have this be your Manhattan home, then what on earth would your country estate look like? Well, luckily for us, we don't have to guess because it still exists. This is called Mailands. It's in my hometown of Fairfield, Connecticut, and it is currently McAuliffe Hall on the campus of Fairfield University. So if you didn't see my first video on this, Oliver Gould Jennings was one of the heirs of the Standard Oil fortune. His father had invested early on, along with the Rockefellers, the Pratts, etc. Oliver initially built his first home for his small but growing family on 72nd Street, but the bulk of his time, and in fact his official residence, would actually be at this 40-room mansion. It was built in 1905 by the same architect as his Manhattan home, Flagg and Chambers, and it would sit on a massive 350-acre estate that had been owned by the Jennings for hundreds of years. Now, initially there was a colonial mansion on the site, but Oliver decided that, nah, that's too small, so we gotta fix this up. So he tore it down. Apparently, according to some letters from his son, they used some of the original mansion in the building of the house, but for the most part, it's all gone. Now, on that estate, the Jennings would breed Jersey horses. They had a massive greenhouse where they would experiment with a lot of different botany. During the winter, the Jennings family would encourage local children to use the estate for sledding. They would also use the mansion to host New York City's elites as they escaped during the summertime. In 1909, as an example, Alfred Vanderbilt was part of the New York Coaching Club race from New York to Newport. Mailands was the first stop where all of the contestants who were literally driving horses and carriages to Newport would stop off and stay the night. Now, the house itself, like I said, had 40 rooms. It had a tower, which according to Jennings' son, Benjamin, wasn't really used a whole lot, but they did have a telescope. Sometimes they said they would go stargazing. Most of the time they would use it to actually watch ships sailing up and down Long Island Sound. They were also planning on building a swimming pool in the basement, but again, Benjamin said that his parents were a little bit too worried about the upkeep and they could just go swim in Long Island Sound anyway because it wasn't totally polluted yet. Now, if this wasn't enough for them, the Jennings also owned a home, which they also called Mailands, because that's creative, in Newport, Rhode Island, which also still exists. However, after Jennings' death by 1942, the family was forced to sell the estate for financial reasons, and they sold it at an incredibly steep discount to the Society of Jesus, also known as the Jesuits, who would then turn this into Fairfield University. Most of the information I actually found on the home was letters back and forth between Benjamin Brewster Jennings, the son of Oliver Gould Jennings, and the first president of Fairfield University. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing left of the interior except for this one doorway. McAuliffe Hall, and it is home to the engineering school. If you want to visit the mansion, you can go to Fairfield University and take a look at it. If you want to learn more about southwestern Connecticut or the town of Fairfield, please feel free to visit the Fairfield Museum.